Hi all, welcome to today's video. So today we'll be seeing something on the issues that we face in a production scenario, especially related to the application that we develop. So you might have heard of this particular famous line, or you might have already used this particular famous line that it works on my machine, but why it doesn't work in the production scenario. So your app works perfectly until it doesn't. So users are angry and the logs will be empty, and then you start panicking. So today we are going to uncover the real reasons that the app crashed in the production scenario and what you can do to prevent it. So keep watching the video till the end and like, share and subscribe if you have ever yelled at your screen over a crash that you couldn't reproduce in the production scenario. So one of the reasons that a crash will happen in the production scenario is due to null reference, due to some pointer being null. So in this case, one of the user profile picture is empty and we are trying to use the profile picture at a later point in time. So this is the classic. So you have tested everything except that one user with a missing profile picture. So to prevent that, we can add the guard clauses and use logging to identify risky chains. So consider enabling the null reference type so that you always check for the null of a particular value that you are receiving, and if it is null, and assign some default value to it so that the code execution will go on smoothly. So this is one of the classic scenarios or most common scenario which occurs in the production. So let's go further. So second reason is the config issues. So we will read lot of configuration related to the connection string and all the application specific configuration from an external file. So during our development phase, that external file will be in our output directory, and this entire entire reading of that particular configuration will work smoothly in our developer machine. So once it goes to production, lot of things can happen. One thing is that configuration it will itself be missing, configuration file will itself be missing, or that particular configuration file might be malformed, or it is not configured properly with the desired set of values. So in this case, the database function string is missing in this configuration. So it will cause issues while connecting to the database, and the database connection will fail at the production case. So what we can do? So what we can do is you can try to validate every configuration that you are reading from the configuration file, and you can add null check to it, and if it is null you add a clear error trace in your trace log that this particular string is missing. So please provide that kind of a thing. You provide a clear and explicit error message. So next common thing what developer will do is, as easiness of coding, we try to use a lot of times is async void instead of using async task. So what it does is, this async void is a ticking time bomb, as I can say. So it works completely fine during the testing phase, but in production errors will get uncaught. So never use async void except in event handlers, and use task as in task instead of async void, and handle the exception in the caller side and try to print explicit error message if something goes wrong. The other reason is whatever we are receiving from a particular context, we try to use it blindly. We don't validate that particular values. So some endpoint crash when an unauthenticated or misconfigured users hits them, always validate the claims. So we have to strengthen how we use our middleware, how we authenticate the user. So we have to first authenticate the user correctly and then allow that particular user to perform his action in the application. So there should be a strict middleware who is providing that authentication or authorization to that particular user. So the other common case is using third-party apps. Our application will use lot of third-party APIs. So without that, our application will not be able to complete its full workflow. So what happens if that external service goes down? So normally, we should what whenever we calling a third-party API, we don't know whether in what scenario an exception will be thrown up by the third-party API, since we don't know the implementation behind it. So always, when you are using a third-party service or API, try to engulf or try to uh, add a third-party API within a try-catch block, so that if any exception is thrown, it will be caught and we know the what scenario that exception is thrown, and use kind of a retry policies. So sometimes this might be an HTTP call or REST call, and sometimes the network might be busy or network connection might be busy, and that network request will not go through for some reason at some point in time. So it is better that your code is resilient enough to handle the network failure. So you do retry a couple of times so that the request goes through. So this is another way to increase the resilience of your code. And next thing is, this is the most common thing, this is a logging mistake. In many places in our code, we try to log for the easiness of the developer. We might not take that much effort in logging the correct information into the logger, since it takes effort to identify the actual context and actual state to log into the message. We might be most focused on implementing the actual use cases instead of handling the error scenarios. So this is one of the bad case where a developer has logged information that an error has occurred. So in the production case, the logger will print that error has occurred, but we might not know what is the reason of that error or what is the state of the system when this error occurred. So it's always a good practice to have an extensive logging message, which is explicit logging message, which will help the developer at least in the future to identify in which scenario or what's the actual reason of that particular error getting thrown. So this has to be kept in mind while you develop your application the next time. The next famous thing, which is quite common and most of the developer will neglect that while doing the development phase, is platform specific crashes. So a typical application might work in different platforms or will integrate with different modules which is running in different platforms. So what happens is the development environment might be different from the production environment. So it might be different server settings or missing font or case sensitivity which will play a role in a platform specific crashes. So in this case, we are reading a file, profilepic.png. So as you know, Linux is case sensitive. So what happens is, if this profilepics.png, if the developer has outputted this particular PNG and he has not taken care of that particular case sensitivity of that particular file, then this might cause issues when it run in a Linux environment. So it's always better to normalize the file path and test on the real production-like environment and monitor the platform-specific issues that can crop in. So next we are switching to the best practices that we can do. So in the production scenario, it's always better to use this feature flag. So what this feature flag will tell us is that if you are enabling one feature, if you want to add a new feature, so always enable that feature behind a feature flag, so that if something goes wrong, there is a way to revert that particular feature. So we typically do this using a registry key. The next is to monitor continuously the health of the modules which are running in your application. So how much resource they are using, is the memory consumption going out of bounds, or how the memory consumption is going, what is the trend of that, and how much CPU resource it is using, or is there any warning or error thrown by that particular module at any point in time. The next is taking care of the logging and tracing in your application. So be sure when you are working on some module, be sure you review the log which is there, and if you don't, you feel that this is inadequate information which is there present in the log, you try to add more information to the particular logging or tracing trace message. So you have to use this exception handlers everywhere you suspect there is a chance of exception getting thrown, and you test your application in a production like environment or which is very close to the production. So these all steps will prevent most of the production issues that we see nowadays. So if you have been with me till now, so if you have got a story of a production crash, please do comment below and like and subscribe this particular channel. So in the end, this production bugs will happen, but with the right tools and mindset, you can catch them early, debug them fast, and learn from each crash which is occurring. So if you like this video, subscribe for more such skill, such tips, and if you've got a horror story from production, do share it in the comments so I can feature that in the next video. Thank you.